Alright, guys and girls, it's Jerningham here. Boris Johnson pulls out of meeting with the victims of coronavirus. That's what it says here on the TV. I'm going to press the video and play it and see what happens.
A group of families who've just lost loved ones to COVID-19 after days after agreeing that he would speak to them. Well, here's what the Prime Minister said last week following a fifth letter from the group COVID-19 Bereaved Families for Justice.
I'm not aware of those letters, but of course we'll write back to everybody, every letter we get. Of course I'll meet anybody, the people who've the bereaved, who suffer from COVID. Of course I'll do that.
But then, in a letter sent this weekend, Mr. Johnson said, as much as I would wish to be able to offer my condolences in person to all those who have suffered loss, that is regrettably not possible, and so I am unable to meet with you and members of Bereaved Families for Justice. Well, Charlie Williams is one of the founding members of COVID Families for Justice. His father, Rex, died in April from coronavirus in the care home where he lived. Good evening to you. This must be hugely disappointing.
Birmingham Sky News.
Why do you think that
Centre.
the Prime Minister has turned down that invitation to meet?
Well, we have absolute no clue. But what I can tell you is, the 1,600 families that our group represents, quite a lot of them today were absolutely devastated and in tears because our Prime Minister, told us on national TV, in fact on Sky News, told us he'd be happy to meet us. And then behind closed doors, he sent us a letter full of excuses. He's no longer going to meet us.
Would you mind, before we continue about that, if I asked about your father, what happened to him?
My father was just one of thousands that died in our care homes across the country after receiving patients from our local hospital into my father's care home. My father died within 10 days of them receiving patients who had been untested for COVID-19. And as you can imagine, my family is absolutely devastated, along with hundreds of families that we're representing.
I have no doubt about that. If there was one issue then that you feel most aggrieved at, in terms of what you see as a failure of this government to deal with the crisis appropriately, what would it be?
Well, we're bereaved families. He said on national TV he'd be happy to meet the families. Now, we took him at his word, and now we're hearing today he's no longer going to be meeting the families. They're absolutely devastated. Some of them were in tears today, and our Prime Minister seems to be doing U-turn after U-turn. This is the fifth letter we've sent to our Prime Minister. He didn't acknowledge our letters at first. In fact, he actually said he had no knowledge of our letters at first. And we have government signed receipts. And, we cannot understand how our Prime Minister is now refusing to meet bereaved families. We understand how busy he is. These things could be done online, as many of us use online facilities these days. He could meet a few members of our family.
So what would your message have been to him if he had granted that meeting?
We have a vast amount of experience that can save lives. The experiences that many of our family members have of cases that have gone wrong, this can absolutely save lives. And this is our key reasons for wanting to meet Boris Johnson. It's to absolutely tell our stories that can absolutely save lives today. We're asking for a public rapid inquiry. Now, we understand under normal circumstances, we would never ask for a public inquiry, but we're in unprecedented times and we need unprecedented action immediately to conduct this public inquiry, which would absolutely take weeks and not even months. This is in order to save lives. Hear the experiences of the over 1,600 family members that we have, so we can at least save some lives here. It's absolutely critical that we have this public inquiry immediately.
So are you saying you would like to meet him to share the knowledge that you've learned, or to ask pointed questions? Because it's sort of two different things, isn't it? If you're pushing for an urgent public inquiry, I understand that that might lead to sharing of greater knowledge. But what is it specifically you want him to do right now for you?
What we need right now is to have this public inquiry so we can share this information that we have as a group of families with the Prime Minister and all the experts as well. The information we have is absolutely critical. As you may know, we gave evidence to the APPG, an all-parliamentary group of MPs, and they can tell you how important our information has been. We absolutely need this rapid, independent inquiry immediately, and it would be nice for Boris to really stand by his words to the bereaved families and please meet us.
Well, no doubt you will keep lobbying both for that public inquiry and for that meeting. Charlie Williams, thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, there we have it, as one would say to me. Just the way it is. Anyway, better go now. Thank you for joining me. See you next one. Peace.